I thought I was at the wrong place. I saw no crowds. I saw no clay lights. I saw no balloons. And I saw an empty parking place in front of the helium club. That's a true story. You don't get many out of Washington, but that's a true story. I participated in a comedy show a few years back at the Prov in Washington, and I had such a good time. I've been planning to do it again ever since. Will Rogers, one of the great comedians, you don't even know who in the hell Will Rogers was. Will Rogers says when Congress tells a joke, it becomes a law. Whenever Congress passes a law, it turns out to be a joke. So I've been in comedy now for 30 years. The only difference is it's not stand up. We all have comfortable chairs. It costs about $27 million to win a seat in the United States Senate. So when you win one, you like to sit down. It's sit-down comedy. Well, I came tonight prepared to tell you some of the inside stories about people in public life. Start with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's a friend of mine because I was a friend of his. I voted not to impeach him. And that's a hell of a thing to do, considering the evidence. I called Clinton up on his 65th birthday, and I said, Bill, congratulations on being 65. How do you feel? He said, Arlen, I feel like a teenager. The problem is I can't find one. I just came down to breakfast and I said to Hillary, I just shaved. Tell her, I feel 10 years younger. Hillary scowled at me and said, why the hell didn't you shave last night? I guess Bill Clinton doesn't have to shave to feel 10 years younger. He said, Arlen, you might not understand this, but Hillary is really mad at me because I complained to her about the cost of Viagra. Do you know, Arlen, that Viagra costs $10 a pill? I said, Bill, how the hell would I know how much Viagra costs? Well, Hillary was mad at me because she said, Bill, you can afford $40 a year. One of the really interesting characters on the American scene for a long time now is Newt Gingrich. I know that's a name out of the past. You probably never heard of it, probably haven't seen him on television since the 6 o'clock news this evening. Gingrich and I bumped into each other on the Acela not too long ago, coming from Washington. He was heading to New York, and I was going to Philadelphia, and we were riding with the porter who came by and said, Speaker Gingrich, what would you like to drink? He said, I'll have a scotch and soda. I said, how about you, Senator Specter? And I said, I'll have a martini. Then the next man, he tapped on the shoulder and said, what can I offer you to drink? And the man turned around, and he was the minister. He said, I'm a man of the cloth, and drinking is a sin. Why, I'd commit adultery first. That brought a little response. Gingrich jumped up and said, wait, I didn't know that was one of the choices. When I see Bill Clinton, I'm going to tell him that Newt Gingrich got applause. And he got none. You might not have heard about Governor Christie. On the last hurricane, Christie's seashore house was totally demolished. And he didn't mind too much that the house was destroyed. But he was really very upset because it destroyed his entire library, both books. And he wasn't finished coloring one of them. You may have heard that Ed Rendell is a man about town. Escorting all of the beautiful women he can find. One or two. Escorting many others, and he is bragging that I saw him on the street the other day, Arlen, and he said, you know, it's great being a man about town. I have sex almost every night. I almost have sex on Monday. I almost have sex on Tuesday. Herman Cain. I should have started with Herman Cain. He gets a hell of a laugh just by being identified. Herman Cain has had really quite a checkered career. 9, 9, and 9, and more women came out of the woodwork than there was wood. People don't know is that Cain had a long-standing problem since he was an adolescent. No matter how hard his teachers tried, they couldn't persuade Herman Cain that harass was one word. This is my final story. This is my final story, and it and two others have been cleared by Joan. The Americans for Disability Act was a big, important legislative accomplishment that I participated in, and there was no disparagement meant, but this is a story about a woman who advertised on the internet for a new lover. She put on the internet that she wanted a new lover because all of her boyfriends walked out on her. And those that didn't walk out on her beat her up. And there was one other requirement, that is, she wanted someone who was very sexy, very, very good in bed. And a few days later, her doorbell rang. She was upstairs, and the doorbell rang again, very loud and long. She was hurried down the steps, and the doorbell rang a third time, just a long blast. She opens the door, and she sees sitting there a paraplegic. She says, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Lady, I came to answer your ad on the internet." "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Look, lady, you advertised that all of your boyfriends walked out on you." "Well, I can't walk out on you. I got no legs." "And you said all of your boyfriends beat you up." "Well, I can't beat you up. I got no arms." She scowled and said, "Yeah, but you missed the most important point. I want somebody who's really great in bed, really sexy. He looked at her and said, I rang the doorbell, didn't I?
Yeah, funny.